Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share for a few minutes the story behind the Morrisville Christmas Project. This year, as in so many years in the past, you, the members of the Newman Community here at Colgate, have asked to be a part of this very special program. Those of you, how many here have participated in this in the past? Well, good. If you want to know a little bit more about how students your age, young adults feel after experiencing this, please talk with one of these kids. They will, I think, share some amazing experiences. Let's begin with a little short history. The reason that I have been associated with this program for over 30 years. When I was teaching at the Morrisville Elementary School, I was in the hall one morning, a very bitter cold January morning, when I noticed a little girl coming into school. She was wearing cotton sneakers, no shoelaces, no socks, no tights, these little skinny tiny legs. She had a dress on that you could have read the newspaper through, it was so thin. She grasped her jacket with both hands because there was no zipper, no hat, no mittens. And of course the school stepped in. Teachers went home and went through their kids' clothes as teachers do, and they generously donated a snowsuit and hats and boots to this child. But the image of that freezing child has stayed in my brain forever. I can never get that out. I never knew her name. It wasn't important as long as she was cared for. But she is the driving force behind my commitment to serve so many families. Last year we served over 200 children in the Morrisville-Eaton School District. Each year in the Morrisville community there are hardworking families that make minimum wage. Many have no benefits, and they struggle to pay for food and shelter, medicine and transportation to and from work, all out of a meager paycheck. And the choices they have to make when it comes to Christmas are very difficult for many of them. You will see these parents with tears running down their face because they were able to get gifts for their children. And those are the parents who struggle every day, not just at the holiday time. And as a parent, I count my blessings that I never had to make choices like that when my children were young. And as adults, we all know that Christmas takes on a whole new life in the eyes of a child. And I made a choice some 30 years ago to help every child experience the joy that my own kids had when they woke up on Christmas morning to find that Santa had indeed arrived. It's a tough choice when you tell a 4 or 5-year-old that Santa won't be coming this year. How do you explain that? It was through the efforts of a really wonderful neighbor, and she was the county health nurse at the time, that our parish was also given the opportunity to make the same choice. And it is the tradition that this woman began that continues today. Because of the generosity of St. John's and St. Mary's, the Newman Community, local businesses, and many, many wonderful, generous individuals throughout our communities. There are volunteers in the parish that give their time. They shop year-round. And they look for the best bargains. I always say, you can't volunteer to shop for this program unless you can make a dime bleed. If I give you $1, you better come back with $5 or $6 worth of things. So you've got to be a really savvy shopper. There are others who, at their own expense, send out the letters requesting support. We send invitations to the families the school gives us names of the families, and we send them invitations to come and what we call shop for gifts for their children. There are volunteers who help set up. It takes several days to get the program set up. We build shelving, and then we take it down every year, and we build it back up the next year. We haul 60 or 80 tables in from a shed into the facility to set everything up. And it's set up like a store. That's why we call it shopping. We have the clothing department and the book nook and the toy department, hats and mittens. So obviously there's no money exchanged. And there are volunteers who just plan the second Saturday of December every year. They're there. I don't even have to call volunteers anymore. I have an abundance of volunteers. And thanks to organizations like the Newman Community. Every dime, every dollar that is donated is spent on the children. This is one organization that has zero administrative expenses. Everything is donated by people in the community, the paper, the printing, everything. So the program also encourages our elementary and middle and high school students to participate and to learn the importance of helping others. They brighten, to help others to make the holidays a little brighter for their classmates and also the seniors at Crouse Community Center, which is our local nursing home. For the past several years, we created a program called Coins for Caring, and this allows students from all economic backgrounds to be able to participate. They can bring in a penny, they can bring in a dime, they can bring in a dollar. We used to do a stocking stuffer collection, and we'd find chewed up pencils or, bubble gum or whatever in the donations because kids want to participate. They don't want to be sitting there and have their classmates see that they have nothing to offer. This way, a few pennies, usually somebody can come up with a few pennies, whether they find it on the street or they, change from the pocket. But every child gets to participate in this way. We just put a container on a teacher's desk, and whenever a student has change, they just drop it in. There's no special time or collection. And then for the elementary kids, we have an assembly, and every student gets a candy cane as they're leaving the assembly and on their way home. and then the high school students vie for a Christmas trophy. We have a restaurant in town that donates a pizza party to the 2 classrooms at the elementary school that raise the most money. So what do we do with the gifts and the money that you so generously donate? We provide gifts to the seniors at Crouse, as I mentioned, which brings joy to so many of these folks who may not even have family alive, let alone family that are here to spend time with them on Christmas. There's a select group of shoppers who really search out the best deals. With 200 kids to shop for, you can go to that 80% off the lowest markdown price and find things that somebody will wear. 200 kids, includes teenagers, you're bound to find, somebody to fit that size. So that's the advantage over you shopping for a sibling where you have to have a size 12. We can take any size, and we do. And this is the only way that we can afford to buy warm clothes for these kids. So that's one of our main focuses. And we get PJs, and we get hats and warm outfits, and my favorite, insulated underwear. You didn't know you could multitask with insulated underwear. These kids live in homes with very little heat. They can sleep in it for pajamas. They can wear it under their clothes while they're playing in the house. They can wear them, with their snowsuits when they're outdoors. So I prefer insulated underwear really over pajamas because it's got so many uses for these kids. But that's the mother in me. We have a toy lady, as I call her. She shops year-round for the sleds and the games and the Legos and the dolls and the trucks, and she fronts all of the money. And when we have money come in, we pay her back. If we don't have enough money come in to pay her back, she's okay with that. But that's just one example of the dedicated volunteers that work for this program. Our goal is to provide every child with at least one warm outfit. PJs, socks, hats and mittens, at least 2 or 3 books, stocking stuffers, a sled, dolls, Legos, Hot Wheels. Did you know those Hot Wheel race sets only come with 1 car? How can you race anybody with 1 car? You know, you have to make sure you have an extra car for the race set. And we try and give every family a game. There's, I think, a big major difference between this program and many programs. Each family that is selected by the school, as I said, receives this letter, and we have 3 time slots set up. So yes, they have to wait a bit because they all come early, but we pretty much can put each group through in an hour. And when they arrive, they register. They fill out a sheet with their child's age and size. And then they have an assistant, which many of you have been. We give black plastic garbage bags so that if there's no place to put the gifts except the back of the car or the trunk or the back of the van, whatever, a closet, the kids can't see what's in it. And the assistant walks with the family, and they talk to them. They get to see their excitement. They get to, maybe help select. A lot of students here have helped in the Book Nook, where they've said, oh, this was one of my favorite books growing up, and they introduce kids to other books that the parents might not be aware of. So, and they move through all of these. We have teachers that volunteer at the Book Nook. They talk to the parents, they ask what the kids are interested in, and then they try and find a book at their reading level. It's no good giving a book to a child that they can't read. So it's very important that we, have a reading level, that this child can actually enjoy the book and want to come back and read more. I taught remedial reading, so this is the heart of where I stand. They also get coloring books and crayons and activity books and markers and stocking stuffers. And the assistants start at the front door with the family, and they carry it right out to their car for them. And usually a family with more than 1 child has more than 1 bag. So, the help is very, very much appreciated. I also encourage all the volunteers to have the parent choose a gift for themselves. I think most of us understand that when you don't have a lot of money to go around, Mom and often Dad are the last people in the house to ever get something, and especially something new, and even something under the Christmas tree. So I think it's very important that the parents, that our volunteers, kind of insist that the parents select a gift for themselves. Several days in advance, we set up the project. As I mentioned, we have lots of tables to haul in, building shelves, and then the task of sorting articles, each article of clothing by size, every book by reading level. We match hats and mittens. We sort the toys by age and type. And then we divide it all by 3, because we have 3 sessions, and we make sure that each session the families have a variety to choose from. The main reason behind doing things the way we do them is I've always felt that the idea of a wrapped gift that says boy 7, girl 6, and you don't know what's in it. Why give a little girl a pink tutu when she'd much rather have a camouflage sweatshirt? Or a boy a game that maybe he got last year, or maybe he doesn't have anybody that'll play a game with him. So it's very important to me that the parents pick out the items that the students can use, they want, that'll fit, and that will bring that smile and that little twinkle of joy in their eye on Christmas morning. So it doesn't take just money and donations. It takes hundreds of volunteers, well, at least 100 volunteers, and many angels, as I call them. I come home and I've had checks stuck in my doorknob from people I don't even know. There's always bags sitting on the doorstep, and that's very frequent this time of year, and it happens throughout the year because they know I have a storage area and that I will, store it. They don't have to. So, people after all these years are very conscious of the program, and they do shop sales when they find them for us. I'm blessed to be given the opportunity to serve so many of God's children. And I feel blessed to live in a community that instead of judging is very generous in responding to those in need of just a little hope and a little joy at this time of year. I'll take some questions, and then I'd like to close with a poem I think that sums up what we do as we try to emulate the Magi who traveled with gifts to celebrate the birth of Jesus as he lay bundled in a manger, offering hope and joy to the world. So any questions? Yes?
I guess the first question is, how do we donate and how do we volunteer?
Who's in charge? Someone's in charge of volunteering.
Yeah, we'll be sending out a Google Doc regarding that, so I can send it to both the Newman Community, everyone who's on that list. Are you on the community list?
I'm leader of OCF, so if you could just, I guess, and I can send that.
Yeah, we can send it around to other chapel groups.
Yeah.
And we'll also be taking collection for toys and clothes and things like that, so that stuff will all be out here. And yeah, in terms of physical donations, we'll have an angel tree that we'll have upstairs, and we will also be coop tabling. So if you would like to donate some money, and I'm sure if you're really passionate and you have something that you'd like to donate that's like not necessarily put on the angel tree, we'd be happy to take that too. We also have reached out to some other groups on campus to organize donating. So if you're in charge of a group or in a group that you think would be interested in helping us out with that, you can contact Newman Community, Caroline, or myself, Kara, and we can help you out with that. We'd love to have more groups donating as a group.
And probably the easy, if you have stuff, as Judy pointed out, but I want to reinforce, they're looking for new stuff, right? So new items, and if you do have stuff, you can just drop it off in my office. We'll take stuff over before. I guess we're taking stuff over on the Thursday, but anything that comes in later than that, you just put it in storage for the next year, right?
Right, and I mean, if it's a large donation, I'll get someone over here to pick it up before Saturday. So.
Okay, yeah, so just, probably the easiest thing is if none of those, the tabling or the angel tree or whatever, if you just want to bring something to my office, we'll get it there.
And I would say everything is new, but we do take good used coats and, ski pants, something like that. If you have them and they're in good condition, we would take those because that's something we can't afford, and we put them out, and families just, if they fit and they need it, they take the coats and the snow pants. So that is, that's the one thing we do used. So any other questions? Okay, in closing, I would like to share the short reading by an unknown author. I received this poem in a Christmas card one year, and it's just always really struck home for for the Christmas project. I enter the home of poverty and cause pale-faced children to open wide their eyes in wonder. I cause the aged to remember their youth and to laugh. I cause eager feet to climb dark stairways with filled baskets, leaving behind hearts amazed at the goodness of the world. I cause the prodigal to pause and send to anxious family small token of love. I enter a dark prison cell, causing scarred manhood to remember what might have been and pointing to better days ahead. I enter the home of pain, and their lips that are so weak to speak simply tremble in silent, eloquent gratitude. In 1,000 ways, I cause this weary old world to look up into the face of God and for a few moments forget everything that is small and wretched. You see, I am the Christmas spirit. May the Christmas spirit remain with each of you today and throughout the season. And may God bless you for your generosity and your loving hearts. And thank you for inviting me here today.